there, and welcome to your FoundSpace Yirri cold plunge. My name's Alex Tyson and I'm the CEO at FoundSpace, and in this video I'm going to take you through everything you need to know about your new Yirri cold plunge, how to fill it up, what to look out for, when to change the filters, how to use the control system, and ultimately how to have a really good time in your new piece of hormetic tech. So let's get into the video and I'll show you around. Okay, the first thing with your Yirri is to fill it up. There's a few things to be conscious of before we start to fill up the tub. First of all, when it's empty, it is the best time to give the bottom a wipe out. Any dust or sediment that built up from the previous uses will now be sitting on the bottom. So give it a nice wipe and just clean down all of the stainless steel so it's looking nice and fresh before you fill it up. Make sure that the plug in the bottom is closed. And we want to fill the Yirri up to a bit above the inlet into the chiller before we turn the chiller on. We also want to be conscious that we've changed our filter, which we'll talk a little bit about later, and that's all packaged up and ready to go. And then we can start to fill the Yirri. It's as simple as putting a hose in and filling it up. Sometimes you may not have a lot of hose length, in which case a clip like this can be great to just lock it in place as it starts to fill. I also like to put my hose as far at the bottom as possible to minimize splashing. That way the stainless steel up in the top areas looks cleaner when it's full and ready to go. So that's first phase. We're gonna do that right now. At this point now that the water is over the exit, on the other side of here, the water is going into the chilling unit. So now that we're over that, we can turn the chiller on and it will start to pull water through here, chill it down and spit it out at the top. We can angle this down so we don't splash too much. That's a cute little way to start to chill the water right away. If you have a short amount of time where you need the water chilled, starting to cool it down as soon as you can is really beneficial. So once the water is over the exit there, we can turn the chiller on. So now you can see the chiller has been activated. It's starting to pump water out the top back into the tub. It's starting to chill, and you can hear when the chiller turns on, it primes for a little bit. And then when the compressor turns on, that's when the fan turns on and the unit is starting to chill. I would also recommend at this point to put the cover half on, and then as soon as it's full and you're done filling it up, put the cover on completely. Keeping the air that's inside the unit in there as best as we can is going to help with cooling down as much as possible. So putting on half of the cover at this point is a good thing to do. Sometimes at this phase, when we turn the chiller on for the first time, it may need to be primed. Reason being is when we change the filter, sometimes an airlock can be created inside the chiller. And so we turn the chiller on, but it doesn't start pumping out water. The way to remedy that is to send the hose into the top inlet. That will fill the chiller with water from the top and help it prime. And sometimes we may need to put some extra water in this bottom, and also that will get water into the chiller and help clear out any airlocks. And that way the chiller will start to run. And you'll get a gauge for it. Sometimes you have to do it quickly, sometimes it takes a little longer depending on how big the airlock is in the system. It's very common, so the solution is just put water in the top or in the bottom, and then you'll hear when the chiller has the water in the pump, it'll start to kick into gear and it'll start to push water out as we saw just now. About at this point where the water is that we can start to consider how much water we want to put into the unit. There's a fill line on the Yirri, which is our recommended fill line. However, some things to keep into consideration are, depending on the use, if it's high use and you're not in the room when those people are using it, it can be better to fill it a little lower, just above the top inlet, as you can see here. Reason being is people who are new or who haven't done it a lot, often when they hop in, they splash about And if there's a lot of water in the unit, you can get a lot of splash outside of the unit. If it's lower use and it's perhaps just yourself and a few others, filling it higher can be quite nice because there's more cold water, you feel more immersed in the experience, and you can control essentially how much mess you make. So play with a little bit. There is a fill line. You can filter that and trial that for a bit, but maybe consider filling it a little lower if it's in a high use environment and filling it a little higher if it's in a low use environment. At this stage, once you've decided you're happy with where it's filled, it's time to put the cover on it. Putting the cover on as soon as you can will reduce the amount of time it takes to cool down, especially in the hot environments.